Well, hi, Happy New Year. Welcome to this session of ExecuNet Masterclass. I'm your host, Tony Vlahos, and my guest this hour is the president and founder of Acquisition Finders, Mr. Aaron Paul. Well, if you're thinking about buying an existing small business, it could be a fantastic decision if you do it right. Aaron is with us today to explain what it takes so you can move forward confidently and successfully. It's really important stuff and part of our commitment here at ExecuNet to connect you with career advice you can trust and rely on.
So the formula for how to value a business and get to cash flow, you start with net profit. You add back any owner compensation. You add back depreciation, interest, amortization. So you're getting to an adjusted EBITDA number. I think that's a term most people are used to. You add back any fringe personal benefits we've already talked about. One-time expenses like last year's hail damage. Maybe they had a fire and they had some. They had a dip in the business for a couple of months because they had a fire in the warehouse or something. And then you subtract out capital expenditures. The way I always explain capital expenditures is, if we had a cleaning company, a floor cleaning company, and I had 10 buffer fleets, so I had a fleet of 10 buffers, and I had to replace one every year, that would be a $10,000 investment to replace that buffer. Well, you as a new owner need to make sure you're taking that into account. And so you would reduce the cash flow by that level of investment to keep the capital expenditures, to keep your capital equipment up and running, and the repairs and maintenance, all that kind of stuff. So that's why CapEx is an important thing to subtract out. Again, value drivers, we talked about trends. Competition is always important. Can you defend your niche? Can it grow, or is it kind of capped out and it's a very mature business and it's not really going to grow a whole lot? What do the customers look like? What about employees? I talked to a lady yesterday. Her entire employee base is over the age of 60. She has 6 employees. It's a great business, but all of her employees are over the age of 60. And so she's looking at it and saying, I don't want to train new employees. The employee base I have is great, but I know over the next 5 years, there's going to have to be a transition, and I'm not going to do it. So a new owner could come in, and you would have to say, okay, I'm good with the employee base that we have now, and I am confident that I can get over this. This would be one of those things that you would have to kind of look over and say, okay, I can get on board, I can fix that, because that's something that's wrong with this business. It's not a perfect business, but it's a great company. It's just not perfect because of this employee base that's aging. And so you'd have to develop a plan to transition to a younger employee base. But again, those are things that you have to look at when you're determining your multiplier. Is that a deal killer kind of deal for you, or is it, hey, I can overlook that and it won't really affect my multiplier? So those are the kinds of things to really look at. In regards to financing, so that's the next thing we always like to talk about is the financing piece. Um, you know, I found this business. I've done my due diligence. I'm ready to go. So what's it going to take to finance this deal? So most of our clients are using SBA loans. They do have their own equity, so that's why we've got cash or personal finances in there.
Let's talk about how, you covered this a bit, how to find businesses for sale, but in particular, the question is, if I were thinking about, say, available market size for a target sector, what are the sources I would use to assess the size of the market for that sector?
So I guess there's a couple of things. There's several industry sources for industry reports you could use. So you could say, I want to look at tree service companies in the Southeast, or tree service companies overall in the United States. What's the outlook for that particular industry? There's a number of places you can get that. First Research is one. IBIS is one. I'm trying to think. There's several places you can get industry reports. But if you're looking at, hey, I want to look in particular market, like I want to see how many wholesale distribution companies are in Memphis, D&B is probably your best bet. It tends to be, it's not always accurate. Okay, so number one, the information's not accurate all the time. but it gives you a pretty good idea of, okay, there are 1,500 wholesale distribution companies in Memphis, or there's 5,000 wholesale distribution companies in Memphis, and you can do some selecting in their databases on how to kind of see the size of some of them, how long they've been in business, that kind of stuff. But that's a good place to get started.
Okay, awesome. Related research question, Aaron. It seems that you're really helping people who may not be classic entrepreneurs or serial entrepreneurs who are always buying and selling businesses, but rather also executives who might be in transition between corporate gigs. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh yeah, that's out of our customer base. Actually, I did some year-end summary work. I think it's around 80% of our client base are individuals. So that would be
Okay,
folks who are coming out or are still in corporate America, but trying to get out. Maybe that's the way to put that. Trying to make their transition plan out. But yes, most
okay,
of our clients are individuals.
awesome. So no experience necessary in a sense, correct?
No,
All right.
exactly.